Everybody, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming. First item on our agenda is our consent agenda, and it's just an extension of a contract, and I would move to approve that.
Second that.
Motion and second. Call for the question. Commissioner Freeman?
Aye.
Chair votes aye and motion passes. I want to notice that number 6 is a public hearing. And so we're going to have a comment on item number 6, but at this time, we're going to invite questions or comments on agenda items. Please state your name for the record and state the agenda item you wanted a question or comment on.
Andrew Rosales.
Okay,
I'm
Andrew, you
here.
wait till you get up there because
Sure.
otherwise Mike didn't pick
Sure.
it up.
Andrew Rosales, and rural county resident.
And the agenda item, Andrew?
It's number 4, and this is in regards to the Peak Government Solutions contract. I did a little bit of research this morning and I found that the current listed information technology director is also the president of the company that we're planning to contract with, which is a very obvious conflict of interest. I was just informed by the HR manager that this person no longer works for the county and that she was relieved or quit or whatever, doesn't work here, about 2 months ago. Whenever I left the military, there was a cool-off period to ensure that there wasn't any conflicts of interest. So I am curious as to whether there's a cool-off period or if this person can immediately be hired, leaving the position of director. And I would like to hear y'all's thoughts on whether or not this is truly a conflict of interest, or why it's not a conflict of interest. So, thank you.
Thank you, Andrew.
Go ahead, anybody else?
This is public comment.
Yeah, state your name and the agenda item you want to talk
My
about.
name is Melissa Sherwood. The agenda item is the shadow agenda item from last week.
I'm sorry, last week was last week. We're not talking
I
about.
want to speak about, you will
Agenda
not
item
let
today,
us
please.
speak about the resolution. You will not let us
Ms.
speak about
Sherwood,
the.
please sit down or talk about one of the agenda
Oh,
items
I'm
today.
so sorry that I'm a threat to you, that I'm a constituent, that you will not allow to speak. I was going to
Please.
recite scripture, and you are telling me I cannot recite scripture in this governmental.
You can sit down.
Oh, okay, because
That's
it's
about it.
not
Does
on
anybody else like
your
to come up and have an
agenda.
agenda?
That's really good to know. Thank you so much.
Please,
And I'm
Anybody
going to
else like-
give you my official grievance.
you can go to the
With
county
city council.
council on
I
that.
already
person.
did.
All right,
Happy for
that's
you.
fine then. You've taken care of it. Thank you.
Wait, my name's Laura Long.
So hang on a minute, it's still a little loud. Go ahead now.
My name's Laura Long, and this is in regards to agenda items 4 and 5.
Okay.
Comments on the 2 items, they involve different subjects, but they raise the same question. What questions should be answered before the board acts? First, the Information Technology Managed Services Contract. This agreement commits the county to $2.467 million annually, with an automatic 5% increase each year and the possibility of extending the agreement for up to 5 years. As I reviewed the contract, I found myself asking several questions. Where are the service level standards? If there's a critical system failure at 2 o'clock in the morning, what response time has been contractually guaranteed? What system availability is expected, and how will the county determine whether it's receiving the level of service that it's paying for? The contract excludes hardware, software purchases, third-party licensing, telecommunication charges, and capital equipment. What's the projected total of ownership once these costs are included? The agreement anticipates future change orders. What level of additional spending is expected, and what process will the board use to review those costs? The pricing attachment also includes the sale of 2 county vehicles. Why are those 2 vehicles part of an information technology contract, and how were their values determined? Perhaps all these questions have good answers, and if they do, I think those answers should be part of the public discussion before committing millions of taxpayer dollars. The second item is a request supporting the Glide Rural Fire's exemption from the standard ambulance staffing requirements. I understand why this request is before you. Rural EMS agencies face difficult staffing challenges, and maintaining emergency medical services is essential. The approval letter states that the agency will continue working towards compliance with the standard staffing requirements. Again, I found myself asking a few questions. What's the long-term plan to return to full compliance? What milestones have been established? How will progress be measured? When will this board review whether the exemption remains necessary? Those questions don't suggest the exemption should or should not be approved. They simply recognize that if we're approving an exemption to an established standard, there should also be a clear path back to meeting the standard. Those two agenda items are very different, yet I found myself asking the same thing in both cases. What questions should be answered before the board acts? For decisions involving millions of taxpayer dollars or public safety, I believe those questions and their answers are just as important as the vote itself. Thank you.
Thank you. Next person on the agenda would like to speak on the agenda item? Okay, we'll move on to the agenda item. We have anybody online, do we?
Nobody online.
Item number 3 is a juvenile department item.
Good morning, Commissioners. Wendy Lang, Juvenile Department. This is just a renewal. It's the intergovernmental agreement between Douglas County and Coos County to guarantee 3 youth beds per day in the juvenile detention facility. It's for this fiscal year 26-27. Coos County will pay $154,000 at the base cost, which is about 1,100 beds.
I will move to approve the intergovernmental agreement.
Yeah, and I'll second that. Questions or
Well,
comments?
just a quick comment, I wanna make sure everybody understands, Coos County is also a timber dependent county, who once had all these services within their county and were being funded by timber receipts that were shared, when federal timber was harvested and sold into the market. They are a little further down the path, than Douglas County is. We had greater reserves and we've made some very difficult decisions to put our financial situation in a little better spot than they are. So we're able to provide these services for them since they no longer have a juvenile detention center over there. So thank you for being in a place to do that, and they could choose several different counties. They choose us because of the great work you do. So thank you.
Thank you.
I'll call for the question. Commissioner Freeman?
Aye.
Chair votes aye and motion passes. Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you.
Item number 4 is one of the items that were talked about. So before you speak, Dan, I'd just like to make sure that if you could, I know you know pretty well, to address some of the issues that was raised on number 4. Okay, then
Dan Wilson, Management of Finance. Morning, Commissioners. Before you is a personal services contract between Douglas County and Peak Government Solutions Incorporated. The first year contract shall be in the amount of $2,467,000 with the option for renewal. Peak Government Solutions Inc. will provide broad selection of IT services as outlined in the contract, which was included in the meeting packet.
Okay, do you have any questions for me?
Well, just a couple things. There was a question about, us having a conflict of interest or there being a conflict of interest. I have no conflict of interest here. I don't have any business relationship with these people. I've been for the last 11 and a half years, always look for ways to be more efficient as a county and provide services at a better level. And this is one of those examples. I didn't work on this. I'm not the liaison to the IT department. However, reviewing all the materials and looking at the efficiencies of having a vendor do this versus having county employees and all the issues around trying to recruit employees and find people that'll work for what we're willing to pay, this is a good solution. IT directors at the level that we need this work, to recruit a good one, we're probably gonna pay double what we'd been paying the one that left. And the one that left, we didn't terminate them. They absolutely couldn't work for the little bit of money that we were able to pay. So, in the world of IT where you can work really remotely from anywhere and do most of the services, everything's really gone to web-based. This really makes a lot of sense to me. So, but as far as any kind of a conflict, I don't have a conflict.
I think the conflict that was brought up was not so much ours, it was the former IT director, and I'd like to just address that for a little bit, you know, so when I was given notice by our former IT director, Nancy Laney, a couple different times got given notice because she really needed to move on to something, but I you know, valued her pretty much, quite a bit. She was doing an excellent job. She brought I should talk about that a little bit for a minute. She brought our IT department from the Stone Age into the modern era, where we no longer had legacy systems running on XP computers. We had them on off-the-shelf products that we could support with a vendor instead of having to try to write code as it broke down. It took a couple years to do that, did a fantastic job with that. And so I got her, you know, to stay as long as I could, but then when she did finally give me the notice, I worked with the HR director to try to figure out some system and some way of, because when we originally went out for recruitment for that position, it was apparent that in Roseburg, it was gonna be difficult to get somebody at the level we need for our IT system, especially at the time. It became and made more sense as time went by that we did things more off the shelf, like I said, and did things more with vendor-based stuff. And having a contractor do that was something we talked about. And so it was really the HR department with help of Dan that came up with the idea and approached Peak and asked them if they would consider being the contractor for us going forward with this. After we did a cost analysis, and it actually is gonna save us money because of some efficiencies and some time things that we just can't do as a government employee, this was a really good solution, and I'm really happy with that we went forward to it. So thank you for all the work and all the work that you've done on it, Dan. I know this has been a very you know, hard project to go through to do all these cost analyses you did with all the direct labor and the benefits and the payroll, and make sure that those folks, and to my understanding, all of our current IT department employees have accepted a position with the contractor and have moved over to there, and I appreciate that work, getting that done. Michael, if you're here, can't see you, but yeah, Michael, thank you for doing that work too, taking care of the people, and moving forward, we're gonna be in that continued modernization that we need to be to effectively address cybersecurity and all the other things, so.
One additional thing, if I may, and people may not know this, but every single agenda item goes through a process here, which includes HR looking at it, finance looking at it, but kind of the final sign off, and actually through the process, and then the final sign off before it comes to us is the legal department. So you've looked at this, all the contracting laws and all the things that are required to be legal have all been accomplished in this item, or it would never come to us. So I don't know if everybody heard, but she said that's correct. So that was one of the questions, so.
So that goes for the January
So-
sixth
so the-
insurrectionists
The,
who
more comments?
gave a
no,
speech last week?
like I say, these agenda items have all been reviewed, so.
I'm gonna call for the question. Commissioner Freeman?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes. Thank you, Dan. Thank you for all that. Item number 5 was also asked about, so I'd hope maybe you can address that one a little bit as well, Joshua. When you come up here, it's kind of it's a little confusing issue, so maybe address number 5 a little bit for us.
Yeah, I've got a little statement here that may answer some questions, but I can also answer any follow-up questions. Joshua Shackley, Douglas County Planning. Before you this morning is a request from Glide Rural Fire Protection District for an exemption to Oregon Administrative Rule 333-255-0070 requirements. This exemption would allow Glide Fire to respond to an emergency scene without a full crew in ambulance service areas number 4 and number 5. This allows any member of a responding crew to arrive at the scene as soon as they can get there and save them from having to travel to and dispatch from the fire station before departing to the scene. So in a rural area served by a volunteer fire district, allowing the district to respond to emergencies in the most efficient and timely manner is potentially life-saving. So that's the reason for the request, and Oregon Health Authority requires they have approval from the county and from the ambulance service program administrator, which is my position.
And so my understanding is right now, currently, before this, they'll roll to the volunteer fire department will roll to a deal, but first, no matter where they are, they've gotta go back to the station and make sure that that the two required people on the, and then go out to it. Even though they may be very close to it now, they're legally not able to go to that scene, which,
The emergency scene could be next door to the EMT,
yeah,
and they would still have to, was
back.
my understanding.
This is
they'd have to
allowing
go-
them to do that, and while it's, I understand the rule in this place and Glide in the rural area they serve, it just makes more sense to be able to, go ahead and take care of what you can where you're at.
There will be a full crew on the scene at some point, it's just a matter of time.
This just gets them there before, the rest of the crew rolls out.
Basically, you could have an EMT that lives 20 minutes or 15 minutes up the North Umpqua River.
Right.
An accident could happen just beyond them, or even between Glide and where they live. They can't stop at the accident, they gotta drive all the way to Glide,
Right.
get in the ambulance with the driver, and drive all the way back up there.
Exactly.
What this will allow is the ambulance with the driver to leave the station and the EMT to go to the scene and be there quicker in those situations where it makes sense.
Sure.
Okay.
And just to be clear, we have ambulance service franchises that are transporting agencies, so they'll for emergency situations, they'll transport to a hospital. Glide is not one of those, but they're the first responders, so they respond to a scene, they're the first on the scene.
It's kinda like when Roseburg, the fire department responds sometimes first and then the ambulance company gets there, it's different. Up there, they're doing the response, the initial response, first response, and then if there's somebody has to be transported, there's a different ASA contract for that.
Yes.
Perfect.
And one of the areas that I'm really grateful for this is the Diamond Lake area, because it's so far from Glide, and it takes them so long to get there, to go back. If they're already 30 miles up the highway, that's a long time without anybody there. So, I'm grateful for that.
So those are the types of situations this helps with.
More questions?
The only other thing, having read through the packet, they have a medical director, doctor, that has to sign off on this as being the best, practice for them to use in situations, and that doctor has signed off on this.
Yeah, in order for Oregon Health Authority to
Right.
grant the exemption, they need several things. They need the letter from the county, a letter from the administrator, and a letter from the
Medical director.
Yeah.
I don't wanna call for the question, Commissioner Freeman?
Aye. I'm not sure I made a motion yet.
Okay.
I will move, to approve the exemption request letter.
I'll second that. Call for the question, Commissioner Freeman?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes. Thank you. Thanks, Joshua. Now the next item is a public hearing.
Alright, again, Joshua Shackley, Douglas County Planning. Before you this morning is a hearing and order incorporating territory for annexation of property into Winston Dillard Fire District for property located at 491 Hoover Hill Road in Winston. Chief petitioner is Russell Family Trust. Subject property consists of a dwelling on 5.43 acres and is zoned farm forest. Staff has reviewed the request and found it to be in compliance with Douglas County comprehensive plan and statewide planning goals. And there are no known objectors at this time.
Questions for staff?
No.
Okay, this time,
Real quick, this is owner initiated. Owner initiated,
Yeah, I'm not positive the reason this particular one came in, but yes, they approached us and wanted.
thank you.
this time I'm gonna open up a public hearing and accept comments on this. Anybody would like to comment on this annexation of property? Anything online? Seeing none, I'm gonna close public hearing, pleasure of the board.
I would move to approve the annexation and the order incorporating the territory.
And I'll second that. Any questions or comments? Now I'll call for the question. Commissioner Freeman?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes. Thanks, Joshua. Item number 7 is a Public Works Department item.
Good morning, Commissioners. Scott Adams, Public Works. Item number 7 is a contract between Douglas County and GRT Construction for the Tye Road Embankment Repair Contract or Project. Bids were received and opened on July 8th of 2026. GRT was the lowest responsive bidder with a total contract amount of $313,742.
Move to approve the contract.
And I'll second that.
Motion and a second, questions or comments?
So this particular bid opening had a pretty wide variance of bids. So you're confident that this contract is one of the lower ones, if not the lowest one, is the work that you want done?
Yes.
Thank you.
Just to clarify that, we met with the vendor, discussed their bid, made sure that they understood exactly what they were bidding for, and they did, and they said yes.
Very good, thank you.
That all, call for the question, Commissioner Freeman?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, and motion passes. Thank you, Scott. Thank you. Item number 8 is a solid waste department item.
Good morning, Commissioners. Nick Freisinger, Solid Waste. Item number 8 is for an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Winston for RV storage and disposal with no expiration.
I will move to approve the intergovernmental agreement.
And I'll second that.
Well, just this program is something we do to help the cities with abandoned RVs, and I appreciate the work. It's pretty complicated and going through the legal stuff, and then the actual cost of doing all that is something that we go ahead and take care of because it's important, but I know it's in addition to the regular work that you do out there, so thank you. I hear very positive feedback from the cities.
I do, yeah, and me as well. That, I'll call for the question, Commissioner Freeman.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, and motion passes. Thank you, Nick. Item number 9 is Commissioner comments. Commissioner Freeman?
Well, as everybody knows, it's fire season again, and I'm the commissioner that does the first round of fire response. And if I get overwhelmed, you'll take over, Commissioner Boyce will take some of the fires. But right now, we only really have one that we're working on here in Douglas County, and that's the Castle Fire. It is really kind of up towards the headwaters of the South Umpqua, up past South Umpqua Falls. So you go to Tiller there and you go way up in the forest. It is burning in an old fire scar from the 2002 timeframe. It's not blowing up like some of the other fires around the state, largely because it's in that fire scar. The challenge, of course, is after that fire in 2002, they did not remove the dead timber, so they can't fight the fire directly. They have to back way up where it's safe. Matter of fact, during they called an in-brief meeting Monday night at Milo. The new team came in to take it over from the Umpqua National Forest. The number one thing they wanted to watch out for, the biggest danger they're dealing with, is all those snags that were left. And they made a point of that multiple times throughout the briefing. The other challenge, of course, is driving. That's their two major risks out there. It's a long ways from where fire camp is in Milo, all the way up to the fire. It is a level 3 team, and I think it's one of the last teams available at the federal level in the whole system. So there's fire all over the United States and certainly out here in the West. Oregon's having a tremendous amount of fire in central and eastern Oregon. It is way early to have as much fire on the ground and as many acres burn as we do. So these folks are having a little trouble getting resources because of all the fire, but they have what appears to be a very sound plan and a management team that will, whatever resources are assigned to them, they will be able to work on getting done what they can with who they have. So that fire started from a lightning storm that blew through the Wednesday before. There was multiple fires on the Umpqua started, and much different than years past. The Forest Service was very aggressive in their initial attack and was able to get around and stop all the other fires that started, with the exception of this one. And they kept this one in check pretty well for the terrain that it's in. It's in a really rough spot. So I'll continue to attend those meetings and report back to the board. They're sending out daily updates, so I'm forwarding those to the board. So It's kind of a nasty situation where it is. It's, if the fire travels east, it'll get into the wilderness area, which dramatically changes the ability to fight fire. It's already in some of the roadless area up there, so there's not a lot of access, and again, it's in a fire scar, so kind of a challenging spot. The only other thing I had is, we have at times some challenging work to do here, and at times representing what is the opinion of the majority of the people is tough for the people that aren't the majority. And, the concept around making sure law enforcement all has the opportunity to work together at different levels should not be a controversial item, but it seems to be. But I've had more positive comments from the work we did last week and the resolution than I've ever received in the 20-something years I've been an elected official. So certainly, there's gonna be a percentage of people that don't like what we do, and that's democracy, right? We have to, we're elected to represent a majority's position on issues. And it's not always easy to figure that out, but I think we're pretty good on this one. Matter of fact, I think, maybe 15% or so of the comments I've got is comments from people that are not happy about what we did, and everything else has been very positive. Thank you.
No commissioner comments from me today. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you all for coming.